I do love me some rolly ball games. Today, we're going to be talking about 3 particular rolly ball games, in no meaningful order, and with no shared relevance, because I feel like it. This is just a genre I find endlessly fascinating, both to experience and opine about. As a result, you'll now be subject to my semi-coherent, sometimes poetic ramblings on the matter. Let's get started. Fast Rolling is a rollerball game which has been delisted from Steam, but is still available on a few key shops, meaning it's effectively lost to time, if not quite literally. I mean, I have a copy, which is why you're seeing footage, but I imagine few other people do. And well, as rollerball games go, Fast Rolling isn't great. Its title is at least accurate, insofar that it's very hard to slow down in this game. The physics are all totally fudged to send you flying when you touch anything. It's not as though it's unpredictable necessarily, just wildly exaggerated. The hazards themselves are simple, and the biggest challenge is generally wrangling your immense speed so you can actually progress. All the while, there's a boisterous, obnoxiously loud music track playing on loop, no sound effects, and an absolute lack of personality. There is nothing here which draws the player, invites analysis, or summons any emotion. Most any rollerball game has an atmosphere about it, but Fast Rolling stands starkly in the face of that, and starkly in the face of memorability as a result. There's barely anything here. So why include it in this video? Well, because someone has to care, you know? Fast Rolling existed. It was made by a human being and available for sale on the world's largest gaming retail platform, if only for a little while. Maybe it's a foolish romantic sentimentality, but all things which live deserve to be cherished, and so too does Fast Rolling, however flawed it may have been. Simple Rolling is a rollerball game which, unlike Fast Rolling, is pretty good. Most immediately one notices the lovely atmosphere, set in a world of gentle hues and calming flat textures which draw to mind the likes of Katamari Damacy. It's all accompanied by tender music that seeks to both comfort and inspire, a truly entrancing ball design, and only the softest sound effects. In general, there's a beautiful pastel placidity here. The gameplay itself is fairly linear and fairly standard, consisting of surreal sky-high obstacle courses through which you come to understand your little sphere's finer physics. None of the hazards here are particularly brutal, especially not by genre standards, and sometimes they're overused a bit too eagerly, but any repetition is alleviated by the occasional presence of branching pathways and the aforementioned atmosphere. Special shoutouts to the lovely, translucent blue strips, which are so hypnotic that I often lose track of what I'm even doing. There are many games which use simplicity to mask a lack of effort or purpose, but this isn't that. Simple Rolling may be, as advertised, quite simple, and it's certainly not going to compete with Marble Blast, Switchball, Ballance, or any of their successors, but it's nonetheless attractive and enjoyable all its own. Marble Race is a rollerball game heavily inspired by Hamster Ball and Marble Madness. I have not played Marble Madness, but I do have a fair bit of familiarity with Hamster Ball, and viewed as a successor to that, Marble Race makes the cut. It's a physics-based obstacle course set in minimalist environments, utilizing a vast variety of hazards to impede and elevate the player in equal measure. A casual run may take around 30 minutes, but mastering the ball's handling and using the level design to its maximum potential will take some doing. What once looked like a mere obstacle to you will eventually present itself as a ramp or shortcut, as more possibilities and curiosities gradually enter your mind. Eventually, through acute understanding, the game will look wholly different than it first had. This isn't something unique to Marble Race by any means. Marble Blast, Marble Skies, and countless other genre pillars use similar design principles, but it's still done admirably well here. There's also a plethora of dev-supported, user-generated content. If that's something you care for, there's so much of it. I'm not usually a fan of player-produced levels myself, but genre enthusiasts can make some pretty incredible stuff, both in this and virtually every similar title. Marble Race is overall unlikely to dazzle anyone, and it may not have hamsters, but it's got heart. Howdy, you made it. We're at the end of the video. Rollerball games are, uh, it would be cheaping out to say they're weird, right? That's extremely reductive, but they are odd in a few ways insofar that as a genre, no one quite knows what to call them. Some people call them rolling ball games. Some people just call them ball games. I call them rolly ball games just because I personally find that kind of cute. There's a lot of names for them and a lot of ways they manifest themselves. They're similar to 3D platformers sometimes, sometimes not at all. They go anywhere from skill-based movement to like straight up puzzle solving and everything in between. But almost all of them have this focus on heavy atmosphere and physical interaction with the world around you that I find deeply viscerally pleasing. So that's why I talk about them so much. Anyway, as we're at the end of the video, it's time to thank my lovely patrons for supporting me so much. You'll see a list of them very shortly, and if you yourself would like to become a Patreon or a patron, excuse me, if you would like to become a patron or support me on YouTube, there is a join button or a link to my Patreon in the description. Thank you so much for your time and efforts, and I'll talk to you in the next video.
Always be yourself, but if you can be a unicorn, always be a unicorn. Always be yourself, but if you can be a unicorn, always be a unicorn.
Howdy, you made it? Did you make it? Are we even here right now? Hold on, let me drink some water. Ah, shoot. The water spilled all over me. And the ice is hairy because it landed in my hair.